First Contact and Underestimation. The Galactic Confederation's Grand Chamber fell silent as Supreme Coordinator Val Theron activated the holographic display. The massive chamber, hewn from crystalline structures that stretched kilometers into the artificial atmosphere of Capital Station, housed representatives from over 3,000 advanced civilizations. Today, they gathered to discuss what many considered a minor issue: the discovery of yet another spacefaring species. Behold, Val Theron's resonant voice echoed through the chamber. The species designated as humans from the Sol system. The hologram showed a primitive-looking vessel, its hull bearing crude markings and what appeared to be inefficient propulsion systems. Gentle laughter rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Zixtal of the Meridian Collective raised a tentacle in amusement. These are the beings causing such concern among our border worlds. Their vessels look barely capable of sustained faster-than-light travel. Val Theron's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of agreement. Indeed, their technology appears to be at least 3 centuries behind our standard. However, protocol demands we establish diplomatic contact now that they've achieved independent interstellar travel. The Confederation had ruled the known galaxy for 50,000 years. Their member species had mastered antimatter manipulation, created artificial solar systems, and bent the fabric of spacetime to their will. Humanity's accomplishments, crude fusion drives, basic shield technology, and elementary artificial intelligence, seemed little more than a child's science project in comparison. The first diplomatic meeting was scheduled for the neutral station orbiting Proxima Centauri. Ambassador Catharan, known for his patience with primitive species, was selected to represent the Confederation. The human delegation arrived in what the Confederation considered little more than an oversized shuttle, its hull bearing the markings of the United Earth government. As the humans entered the meeting chamber, Catharan noticed something unusual. Despite their obvious technological inferiority, the human delegates carried themselves with an air of quiet confidence that seemed out of place for a species of their development level. "Welcome to the galactic community," Catharan began, his translation matrix converting his harmonic speech into human English. "The Confederation has watched your species' development with interest. We believe you may be ready for limited trade privileges and technological guidance." Sarah Chen, the lead human diplomat, smiled politely. "We appreciate the Confederation's interest, Ambassador. However, we're primarily interested in establishing mutual recognition of territorial boundaries and trade routes." Catharan's secondary hearts skipped a beat. Most primitive species begged for technology sharing and protection. These humans were different. Surely you understand that your current technological level makes independent operation in Confederation space challenging. "We're aware of the technological gap," Chen replied, her smile unchanging. "But humanity has always preferred to chart its own course." The meeting concluded with what the Confederation considered standard protocols for primitive species: restricted travel zones, limited trade rights, and a requirement to report all military vessels' movements. The humans accepted these terms with surprising grace, asking few questions and making few demands. Back in the Grand Chamber, Catharan reported his findings. "There's something unusual about these humans. They show none of the typical signs of technological insecurity we see in emerging species." Val Theron dismissed the concern. "All primitive species have their quirks. They'll learn their place in time, as all others have. But in the depths of Earth's heavily shielded military installations, humanity was already preparing for a future the Confederation couldn't imagine." General Marcus Santos stood before the United Earth Defense Council, presenting the latest developments in Project Phoenix. "The Confederation's arrogance is our greatest advantage," Santos declared, gesturing to the holographic displays showing the latest quantum weapon tests. "They see what they expect to see: primitive engines, basic shields, simple AI. They don't look deeper because their superiority is fundamental to their worldview." Council President Chen, Sarah Chen's mother, nodded gravely. "And the Phantom Shield technology?" "Fully operational," Santos replied. Our real fleet remains undetectable to their sensors. They see only what we want them to see." The council chamber hummed with tension. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, ever since their first detection of alien signals. While the public saw a steady, unremarkable progression of space technology, Earth's hidden laboratories and shipyards had made breakthrough after breakthrough. They knew war was coming, not with the Confederation. They were too arrogant, too set in their ways to pose an immediate threat. But their long-range sensors had detected something else out there, something that made even the Confederation's power seem modest in comparison. As the first part of their story unfolded, humanity played their role perfectly. The humble, somewhat primitive species, grateful for any scraps of recognition from their galactic superiors. But beneath this carefully constructed facade, they were building something unprecedented in galactic history. The stage was set. Humanity's greatest test would come not from the Confederation's dismissal, but from what lurked in the darkness between the stars. And when that threat emerged, the galaxy would learn just how badly they had underestimated Earth's children. The silent preparation. Deep within the asteroid belt of the Sol system, hidden shipyards hummed with activity. What appeared to be ordinary mining operations to the Confederation's casual scans were, in reality, the heart of humanity's true military-industrial complex. The United Earth Defense Force's newest flagship, the UES Prometheus, was nearing completion. Admiral Sarah Chen, who had shed her diplomatic role, stood at the observation deck, watching as quantum-forged armor plates were fitted to the massive vessel. Unlike the primitive ships they showed the Confederation, the Prometheus represented the pinnacle of human innovation, a perfect fusion of technologies the galaxy's ruling powers thought impossible to combine. "Status report," Chen commanded, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of preparation. Colonel Yuki Tanaka, head of special projects, brought up a holographic display. "The Phantom Shield matrix is operating at 99.8% efficiency. As far as the Confederation is concerned, this entire facility is just another routine mining operation. The quantum core is stable, and the AI integration is complete." The true scale of humanity's deception was staggering. While the Confederation saw a species struggling with basic fusion power, humanity had mastered zero-point energy extraction. While they detected simple shield systems, Earth had developed phase-shift technology that could make entire fleets invisible to conventional sensors. And while they dismissed human AI as primitive, Earth's quantum neural networks had achieved levels of consciousness that would terrify their supposed superiors. In the decades since first contact, humanity had maintained a careful facade of measured, unremarkable progress. Every public advancement was calculated to reinforce the Confederation's preconceptions. Meanwhile, Earth's hidden laboratories had pushed the boundaries of physics itself. The catalyst for this massive deception came from Earth's most closely guarded secret, the discovery. In 2157, a research team in Antarctica had uncovered something that changed everything. Evidence of an ancient conflict that had shaped the galaxy long before the Confederation's rise. This discovery had also revealed the existence of something far more threatening than the Confederation's condescension. In a secure chamber beneath Geneva, the Defense Council convened for their monthly update. General Santos, now showing signs of age, but none of his legendary intensity, addressed the assembled leaders. "The Harbinger Array has detected increased activity in the void between the Carina and Sagittarius arms," he reported. "The patterns match the signatures we discovered in the Antarctic data. They're coming." President Chen's expression remained stoic, but her hands tightened on the armrests of her chair. Timeline? 8 months, maybe less. The Confederation's border patrols have already noted unusual gravitational disturbances, but they're dismissing them as natural phenomena. Their arrogance blinds them to the danger. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had spent 30 years preparing for this moment, building a fleet and defensive capabilities that would shock the galaxy. The question wasn't whether they were ready. It was whether even their best would be enough. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the silence. The Prometheus battle group will be ready in 6 weeks. The Phantom fleet is already positioned at key points throughout Confederate space, completely undetected. When the threat emerges, we'll be able to respond immediately. The true strength of humanity's military power would have stunned the Confederation, hidden beneath phantom shields and scattered throughout supposedly empty regions of space. Earth's real fleet comprised over 300 capital ships and thousands of support vessels. Each incorporated technologies that the Confederation considered theoretical at best, impossible at worst. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their advanced technology. It was their perspective. 30 years of being underestimated had taught them the value of humility and deception. They had learned to see beyond their own assumptions, to question everything, and to prepare for the impossible. In orbital shipyards across the solar system, the final preparations were being made. The public-facing fleet continued its routine patrols, playing the role of a modest defensive force. Behind the phantom shields, humanity's true power grew. The Prometheus itself represented a leap forward in military technology that would reshape warfare. Its quantum core could generate enough energy to power a small star. Its neural network could process more information in a second than the Confederation's best computers could handle in a year. And its weapons were designed to fight an enemy that the Confederation didn't even know existed. As the various project leaders delivered their reports, Admiral Chen felt a mix of pride and apprehension. Humanity had accomplished something unprecedented. They had completely deceived the most powerful civilization in known space, while building a force that could potentially save that civilization from annihilation. The irony wasn't lost on her. The same arrogance that had led the Confederation to dismiss humanity would blind them to the approaching threat until it was too late. When the storm finally broke, Earth's children would stand as the first and possibly last line of defense against an enemy that had once nearly wiped out all life in the galaxy. The waiting was almost over. Soon, the galaxy would understand just how badly they had underestimated humanity's potential. The only question was whether that understanding would come in time to make a difference. The Zenith invasion. The first attack came without warning. On the outer edges of Confederate space, massive vessels of unknown design emerged from what appeared to be tears in the fabric of space itself. The Confederation's border fleets, caught completely off guard, were annihilated within hours. The mysterious attackers, whom humanity had designated as the Zenith based on the Antarctic data, moved with devastating efficiency. Their ships, organic mechanical hybrids that defied conventional physics, carved through Confederate defenses like paper. In the Grand Chamber, panic had replaced arrogance. Supreme Coordinator Valthuren watched in horror as system after system fell to the invaders. How is this possible? Our technology is supreme. Our defenses are impenetrable. Ambassador Catharan, who had maintained contact with the humans over the years, spoke up. Perhaps we should request assistance from all available species, including the humans. The suggestion was met with nervous laughter. What could they possibly contribute? Valthuran demanded. Their ships can barely achieve stable warp flight. But desperation soon overcame pride. As the Zenith fleet approached the Confederate core worlds, an emergency distress call was sent to all known spacefaring species, including Earth. The response they received was not what they expected. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, watching as the phantom shields dropped across human space, revealing humanity's true military might. The massive quantum-powered warships, hidden for so long, moved into formation. All ships, battle positions, she commanded. Operation Thunderstrike is now active. Show them what humanity can really do. The Confederation's sensors suddenly lit up with thousands of new contacts. Ships appeared where none had been detected before, vessels of a design so advanced they seemed to bend reality itself. The human fleet moved with impossible speed and precision, their formations shifting like a living organism. The first engagement between human and Zenith forces occurred in the Arcturus system. Confederate observers, who had retreated to what they considered a safe distance, watched in stunned disbelief. The Prometheus led the charge, its quantum weapons tearing holes in spacetime itself. The Zenith vessels, for the first time since their arrival, showed signs of hesitation. Their organic mechanical ships recoiled from weapons they had not encountered in millennia. "By the eternal stars," whispered a Confederate admiral, watching the battle unfold. "What are we seeing?" What they were seeing was the fruit of 30 years of secret development. Human ships phased in and out of normal space, avoiding enemy fire while delivering devastating counterattacks. Quantum AI networks coordinated strategies faster than organic minds could process, predicting and countering Zenith moves before they were made. The Battle of Arcturus lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Zenith fleet was in retreat, leaving behind the wreckage of their supposedly invincible ships. The human fleet had suffered losses, but nothing compared to what the Confederation had experienced in their encounters with the Zenith. In the aftermath, the galaxy's power structure was shaken to its core. The Confederation, which had dismissed humanity as primitive, now faced the reality that Earth's children had surpassed them in nearly every technological field. But there was no time for recrimination or celebration. The Zenith had been pushed back, not defeated. And humanity knew, better than anyone, that the real battle was just beginning. Operation Thunderstrike. The full scope of Operation Thunderstrike revealed humanity's true strategic genius. What appeared to be a simple counteroffensive was actually the culmination of decades of planning, with layers of deception and strategy that left both allies and enemies stunned. While the Confederation struggled to comprehend humanity's sudden technological leap, Admiral Chen implemented the next phase of the operation. The Phantom Fleet, which had been positioned throughout Confederate space long before the Zenith arrival, began activating in sequence. "Execute Pattern Omega," Chen commanded from the Prometheus. "All ships, commence quantum synchronization." What followed was unprecedented in galactic warfare. The human fleet didn't just fight as individual ships. They fought as a single, quantum-entangled entity. Every vessel was connected through a network that operated outside normal spacetime, allowing for perfect coordination and instantaneous response. The Zenith, despite their advanced organic mechanical technology, found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. Human ships would appear precisely where they were needed, using their phase shift technology to strike from impossible angles. In the Grand Chamber, the Confederate leadership watched in stunned silence as tactical displays showed human vessels performing maneuvers that defied their understanding of physics. Ships would disappear from one sector only to reappear instantly in another, their weapons firing with impossible precision. "How long?" Valtheran asked quietly, his previous arrogance replaced by a mixture of awe and fear. "How long have they been capable of this?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Sarah Chen, no longer maintaining her diplomatic facade, addressed the chamber directly from the Prometheus. "We've been preparing for this moment since before we made first contact with the Confederation. We knew they were coming. We found the warnings left behind by those who fought them before." The Antarctic discovery, humanity's most closely guarded secret, had contained more than just warnings. It had provided hints of technologies and scientific principles that humanity had spent decades understanding and perfecting. While the Confederation had stagnated, convinced of their own superiority, humanity had been quietly revolutionizing their understanding of the universe. The Zenith, facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered in their long history of conquest, began to show signs of desperation. Their ships attempted to adapt, their organic components evolving in real time to counter human tactics. But humanity had anticipated this as well. "Implement Forge Protocol," Chen ordered. The quantum cores of the human fleet pulsed in unison, creating a cascading wave of space-time distortions that trapped the Zenith ships in temporal bubbles. Inside these bubbles, the organic components of their ships could not adapt or evolve. The true power of humanity's fleet wasn't just technological, it was psychological. Every move, every tactic was designed to demonstrate that the Zenith's assumed superiority was an illusion. Each devastating strike proved that humanity had not just prepared for this war, they had revolutionized warfare itself. Confederate observers noted something else. The human ships moved with a precision that suggested their crews were operating on a level beyond normal human capabilities. The truth was both simpler and more complex than they imagined. Human quantum AI integration had created a new form of consciousness, a perfect blend of human intuition and machine processing that made each ship's crew function as a single entity. As Operation Thunderstrike entered its final phase, the remaining Zenith forces found themselves caught in an elaborate trap. The human fleet's seemingly random maneuvers had actually been herding them toward a specific region of space, a region where the laws of physics were about to be rewritten. All ships, execute final protocol, Chen commanded. The quantum cores of the entire human fleet synchronized one last time, creating a cascading reaction that rippled through spacetime itself. The Zenith ships, trapped in the affected region, found their organic mechanical technology turning against them as the very fabric of reality rejected their presence. The battle was over in minutes. The mighty Zenith fleet, which had terrorized galaxies for millennia, was reduced to drifting hulks of inert matter. Humanity had not just won a battle, they had changed the rules of warfare itself. A new dawn, the aftermath of Operation Thunderstrike, brought more than just victory. It brought a fundamental shift in galactic power dynamics. The Confederation, once so certain of its superiority, found itself facing a new reality where their understanding of the universe seemed primitive in comparison to human achievements. In the Grand Chamber, now filled with representatives from both Confederate worlds and Earth, Admiral Chen presented the full truth of humanity's journey. She revealed the Antarctic discovery, the ancient warning system left behind by a long-vanished civilization that had fought the Zenith eons ago. She explained how humanity had used this knowledge not to copy ancient technology, but to forge their own path, developing innovations that even the ancients hadn't imagined. "We never sought to deceive you out of malice," Chen explained to the assembled representatives. "We knew that the only way to defeat the Zenith was to surprise them completely. Your assumptions about our capabilities were our greatest shield." The revelation of humanity's true technological level sent shockwaves through galactic society. Quantum physics, AI consciousness, phase shift technology. Humans had mastered concepts that the Confederation had deemed impossible. But more shocking than the technology was the strategy behind it all, the patience and foresight to maintain a facade of weakness for decades while building something revolutionary. Supreme Coordinator Valthiran, speaking for the Confederation, formally acknowledged humanity's new status. "We were blind," he admitted, his voice carrying across the chamber. "We saw what we expected to see, and in doing so, we nearly doomed ourselves. Humanity didn't just save us from the Zenith, they saved us from our own arrogance. But humanity's victory came with its own challenges. The quantum technologies they had developed, the AI integration they had mastered. These advances raised questions about the future of intelligent life itself. The human fleet had demonstrated possibilities that would reshape civilization across the galaxy. Admiral Chen, standing before the combined council of human and alien leaders, addressed these concerns directly. "We stand at a crossroads," she declared. "The defeat of the Zenith proves that no species, no civilization, can claim absolute superiority. Our strength came not from technology alone, but from our ability to imagine, to adapt, and to work together. The future belongs not to the strongest or the most advanced, but to those willing to learn and grow." The galaxy entered a new era. The rigid hierarchies of the Confederation gave way to a more dynamic alliance, with humanity playing a central role not as conquerors, but as innovators and mediators. Their phantom shield technology was adapted to create new forms of communication and exploration. Their quantum AI integration opened new frontiers in consciousness and cooperation between organic and artificial life. In the decades that followed, the story of humanity's deception and ultimate triumph became legend. But the true legacy wasn't the military victory or the technological achievements. It was the lesson that true strength lies not in assuming superiority, but in the constant drive to learn, adapt, and evolve. The human fleet, no longer hidden, became a symbol of this new philosophy. The Prometheus and its sister ships, their quantum cores pulsing with possibilities, stood ready not for war, but for the greatest adventure of all, the continuous exploration of what was possible when imagination and determination combined. As Sarah Chen looked out at the transformed galaxy from the observation deck of the Prometheus, she reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Humanity had proven itself not by dominating others, but by protecting them. They had won not through force alone, but through patience, innovation, and the courage to imagine something beyond what others thought possible. The stars stretched out before them, endless in their possibility, and in ships across the galaxy, human crews and their AI partners prepared for whatever challenges awaited them in the vast unknown. They had learned the greatest lesson of all. The future belongs not to those who claim superiority, but to those who never stop striving to surpass themselves.